Where's my coffee?
Where is your coffee?
It's right there. Do you have yours?
I do have mine. Well, good morning, everyone. We're a little bit behind schedule because it's a Tuesday. We just had a holiday weekend, so we're coming up to speed. Coffee, we're on cup number 2. Welcome to what is a new benchmark, episode 90 of Coffee with Cramer and Colleen. And look who, ladies and gentlemen, there is a Colleen. Welcome, Colleen Schaefer.
Thank you so very much. How was your weekend?
Well, our weekend was great. It was Labor Day weekend, so it did a little laboring. Had some client meetings, things like that, and then just sort of did a little catch up around. So we were working on Labor Day. How about you?
Working on Labor Day, we had a client that is getting ready to close on a house and wanted to get back into it to do some measuring and get some bids and
Yep.
et cetera. And of course, we went. We got them in. They got all the things they needed to do done. So that was nice. Did some paperwork, did a couple of phone calls. You know how it goes.
Oh yeah,
It's when people are off, it's kind of the easiest time for them to talk to us.
absolutely, absolutely. And for those tuning in the first time, welcome to the show where we talk about real estate, lifestyle, community here in our humble little valley of Las Vegas, Nevada, including parts of Henderson and North Las Vegas. So thanks for tuning in. If you are here with your morning beverage, cheers to you. Do us a big favor, hit the like button. If you have some questions about real estate, lifestyle, or community, put it in the comment section below. We'd love to hear about it. But today, another benchmark. We are up. Can you believe we're up to episode 90, Colleen?
I give you so much credit, Don, because as you know, I'm not always here, but you are every day, and thank you very much for that.
Well,
So
you're always here in
cheers
spirit. You
to
know that.
you, and partially to me.
Cheers.
And I know you always do. Thank you very much. Sorry about that. Hold on a second. Let me see who's making the noise.
And
Who's
your
working from
cheerleader
home?
savvy.
Yeah, she's just gonna
She's part of your fan club. We know.
keep. She is.
She
I'm gonna.
is.
I'll be right back. I'm going to get her to stop. So hold
Okay.
on.
So I'm gonna cover a couple things while you're stepping away here for a moment. So thanks everyone for tuning in today. We're a little behind now. We kind of missed a few shows last week. Colleen's out doing some real estate stuff, but also too, we were part of a virtual conference of some of the top real estate agents in not just the country but even internationally, especially a lot of North America, but also overseas as well. It's a pretty cool event. I got a chance to catch up virtually, even with a lot of agents. Also, too, I was humbled to be a part of a panel where we presented and we kind of talked about this show itself and how we enjoy um, producing this several days a week and getting this content out for people to kind of just get a feel for life here in Vegas or what's going on.
Don't you feel like it's a work in progress too? It's kind of like it gets better each time, and we learn more things. And again, with all the input that we get from clients and friends and family and coworkers and trainers and everybody,
Yep.
and then our own research, you've done a great job at making this something that works.
Yeah,
Kudos
no,
to you.
exactly. It's become a great anchor. We have a lot of conversations with our friends, family, colleagues, clients that see us because we're continuing to discuss things going on in the valley, in the city, both real estate wise, stats, data, information, but also the broader market, and also just kind of having fun with what's going on. And because there's more to it than just, okay, this house is for sale or this house is under contract. And that's, I think, the part we really enjoy. And bringing some, the opportunity to introduce people to the community. I mean, we're looking forward to having a couple other people on. I mean, I remember the episode you had where we had Mike Snodgrass with West Coast Beverages talking about Italian wines. And you're like, slow down.
I know, I know. I had to go back and actually watch it again on YouTube and see what I missed writing down. It was good though. It was very, very nice.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we got a few things to go. So first off, I know Colleen, the Schaefer family, big Golden Knights fans. Well, what's going on with the old Golden Knights?
We haven't missed a game. just so you know, and loving every minute of the fact that they have the sound effects going on because it's really kind of cool. Just
Yep.
you don't feel as sterile. But a little bit of a nail biter because we were extremely tired, and which we would be. We went 7 games, which opinion mine should never have happened, but that's
Right.
another whole nother story. Then we didn't have Reeves.
Yep.
So we had a lot of issues going on, and they were aggressive. I mean, they were hitting. So we held them off. I mean, as far as we only one goal, but that's all it takes.
Yeah, it does.
And it did
Exactly.
it. So we're really ready for the next game. We'll have Reeves back in, which is great. It was so cool just to see Fleury back in that position. You know how we are about our Fleury.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's I think that's a sentiment shared across Vegas, Golden Knightdom, the Kingdom.
Yeah, I mean, face it, he was the face of our franchise for a while, and he's kind of the guy that shone and pulled it all together. So we all like him,
Yep.
and hopefully he'll play again. And this time everybody will be on, and we'll have Reeves back in there, and let's see.
Exactly.
We're ready.
Exactly. So we've got I didn't check what is when's the next game coming up?
Oh my God, you're asking me. I think it's tomorrow, but I'm not positive.
Okay, let's double check.
No, I will because I had it wrong yesterday, and I've lost a day. I'm gonna
Yeah.
look it up right now, and you
You know,
keep talking.
yesterday I was feeling yesterday was Sunday all throughout the day.
I had screwed it up all weekend long.
Yeah. So, hey, got a couple of little notes here. We got a little local thing. So, on today's show, we're going to chat a little bit about a chef, permanent
Today at
location
5.
here in Summerlin. What's that?
Today it is today at 5 because
Today at 5.
today is Tuesday,
Today's
not
Tuesday.
Monday.
Tune in. Go Knights go.
Yes.
And enjoy. And then, so we've got a little bit about a chef in a permanent location here in Summerlin.
Nice.
We also want to do a little follow up here on the eviction moratorium extension. So last week I shot a little video, and we'll talk about that, saying, okay, what was going to happen? Well, at the 11th hour, there were some changes per the governor. So we're going to chat a little bit about that. And also, too, we've got a little broader conversation. The reason why we're a little late to today's show is Colleen and I, we're kind of trying to hash a lot of this stuff out, just like everyone else is, what's going on, and we kind of want to talk a little bit more about images or things that are starting to appear in this broader real estate eviction moratorium, what that means market. And then lastly, we'll always catch up on rates today. So thanks everyone for tuning in. So Colleen, first off, kind of on the fun side of things, always love to talk about food. You know me.
I know
Um,
you're good at this. I've got.
I'm good at this.
Go ahead.
As if
You're
we
good at
put that
this.
in golf, I'd probably say I'm a +2 handicap when it comes to eating.
And I'm
Exactly.
not.
So, with that in mind, Chef Marc Vetri. Now he was the chef at Vetri at the Palms, which is Station Casino property. And as you know, when the pandemic hit, the Palms station shut it down,
Yeah.
and it's yet to
Yeah.
be reopened.
Mhm.
Now, Chef Marc also too, because he's had a relationship with stations, was brought in, and it was kind of at a pop up at the time at Red Rock to be to run the kitchen at what was named at that moment in time Terra Rosa, and it's been a few different names up here, kind of like you had Terra, it was the Terra Verde or something like that back at Green Valley Ranch. Now it's
Mhm.
a new name. I mean, so this Red Rock Italian property, I mean, it's been a couple different iterations, and so Marc Vetri was there and started this pop up. Well, apparently now it's permanent because there's new signage out front for Osteria Fiorella. So Vetri was named James Beard Foundation winner from Philadelphia for Best Chef Mid Atlantic in 2005, and is got a great following and makes some great Italian dishes. So having a top line chef like Marc at
They're not. But
Summerlin.
correct me. It's open now.
So the Palms is not open, but Red Rock is,
Right.
and Osteria Fiorella is open.
Is open. So
Yes,
you haven't tried it yet.
have not, have not. So I'm looking forward to heading over there. I've had some friends go over. John. I think John, a good friend John Curtis, a friend of the show, has been over there. It's happy to see Marc. I mean, he was really a big fan of Vetri, and I didn't get a chance to go over there when it was at the Palms. Just kind of trying to make our ways down there. Just timing
Didn't
just
happen.
didn't appear. So
Yeah.
excited there. So I think we're going to go down here sometime soon and check it out, especially fall for Italian food. That's my favorite.
Sounds good.
Yep, yep.
Do they do lunch? Do you know?
I don't know if they're fully open for lunch yet, but we'll have to take a look
I'll have
and
to find out.
kind of note on that. So we are looking at because the previous iteration, some of them they did not have a lunch program out there, but hopefully the fall because they've got a nice patio for alfresco dining. So this time of the year for lunch for a great Italian place, that would be terrific.
Not
So
today, mind you.
not today. No.
Today, I'm in Henderson at the house. I mean, the wind is just howling.
Yep.
So
Yes. No. It's a little
it's
breezy, and
me.
actually, just from a weather note, we're excited to have a little breeze here because yesterday was pretty bad with the uh,
The
with the
smoke.
smoke and everything coming in from the
Smoke was
wildfires.
terrible. Sorry for California, but
Yeah.
anyway,
Exactly.
Denver's getting snow today, so that's
Yeah, we got weather going all over the place here, but nonetheless,
yeah.
if you get a chance, you're looking for some great Italian food up on the west side, go over to the Red Rock, check out Chef Marc's new place, Osteria Fiorella. Love to hear what you think. So it is cool, and as I love to joke with my good friend John, he says there's no great eats up in Summerlin because Summerlin is devoid of culture. How dare you, Mr. Curtis? How dare
I like him even better now. No, I'm kidding.
you? So we have our places up here on the west side. So, okay. Next thing here, Governor Sisolak extension. So last week shot a little video like, okay, here's what's coming up. Also, when we did a starting off coffee with Cramer last week, we talked about, okay, we wanted to see what the moratorium was. Well, late in the day, all of a sudden, governor comes out, 45-day extension. So now until October 15th, those that were being set to be evicted were extended another 45 days.
Here in
Here.
our state.
Yes.
Yes.
And then at the same time, too, CDC, Center for Disease Control, interestingly enough, came out with another discussion extending a moratorium for evictions to December 31. So we're trying to balance out how those two relate to each other.
And cause and effect, you know what I mean? Just try to figure out how that's
Yep. And part of it, was to, with the governor, if we kind of put ourselves back with the 45-day extension, there was some concerns about the courts being able to handle the load. It looks like they're putting in a mediation group that are going to be processing a lot of these. So we're going to get some more details here
yeah.
over the coming weeks when evictions reappear are being processed. However, with the CDC's national guidelines on evictions coming out in a lot of cases through December 31, the big question mark will be, will Nevada follow suit with the national guidelines and extend to December 31?
If I had to lean one way, I would say he's going to follow the guidelines. I would not be surprised to see that. Let's
Yeah.
put it that way.
Yeah. So it's going to be interesting. So we're going to kind of continue to pay attention to that and watch. And I also note here too, the Nevada Realtors Association. I mean, they were asked to comment on this, and Chris Bishop, the Nevada Realtor Association president, stated, on behalf of the Nevada Realtors and over more than 18,000 members throughout the state of Nevada. We are very disappointed in Governor Sisolak's decision to extend the state's eviction moratorium for another 45 days. He went on to say, we recognize that thousands of Nevadans may be facing eviction because they have lost their jobs and have had their income reduced since this pandemic and the economic downturn beginning in March. We understand and sympathize with their solution. We also appreciate that many property owners and tenants throughout the state who've been working together to find a solution during these trying times. So, there are, as you and I chat about, Colleen. I mean, there's definitely more sides to the plate, and I think there's an error on the tenants and keeping them in place and keeping them in shelter, and I think a lot of people get and understand that, and they've been doing that for a while. However, um, the situation has been causing some other situational effects that have to be addressed.
Definitely. I mean, wherever they are and they're not being evicted and they're not paying rent, there's no income. So that's where the damage is being done.
Right.
The people who are providing the housing for free still have costs,
Yes.
or we're still counting on that money for whatever reason. It doesn't matter whether they own it outright or they have a loan on it, or they did it for a reason, and so they had a plan when they put those homes together and said
Absolutely.
we want to rent those out. So it's a business doing business without any income.
Exactly. And so there may be mortgages. There's certainly property taxes. There may be
Mm-hmm.
HOA fees. There may be repair costs. All those things are costs that are still trying to be figured out. And I know they're looking at varying levels of relief. However, there's nothing definitive or nothing that would say that can't sort of levels it all out for everyone.
Yeah, we don't know what happens when, and then how do we correct any damages.
Yep.
We don't have the answers to those. So those are our biggest you and I discussions, are what ifs. What
Exactly.
do you think?
And the other one too, and I think you and I were, again, we're kind of pulling some information together, having a little deep dive about it beforehand. We've been noticing it is tough to find a rental right now.
Oh, I have a friend of my daughter's that's going to be looking, and I'll give you an idea. I did a search because there's a certain amount of money, and he'd rather have a house. He has a German Shepherd, which
Mm-hmm.
can be difficult in an apartment or a condo. So he's
Right.
looking for a house. Great little shepherd, but he's little. He's 100 pounds. So, you just need space.
Exactly.
So I went, okay, let's take a look at what's out there. So I'll give you just a little bit of numbers. This included townhomes, condos, and houses. Okay, I
In the
just want to
valley,
see what
right?
they're right. It was. I didn't stop. It's really Clark County more than anything on the MLS,
Okay.
right? So you can go now Charleston, you kind of go out to Pahrump, you go over to Boulder City, and then all of Henderson and Vegas proper. So it's a large amount of somebody who lives here, in Las Vegas area. So long the short of it, when I pulled up anything $500 to $1,000 a month, let's do that. There
Sure.
was 109 total,
Total population of
total,
over 2.25 million.
109, and I went, okay, let's go a little higher. Let's go $1,000 to $1,200 a month. 137 total.
137.
So now you add 137 and 109 together, and what do you have? 248
Right.
from
That's what I said
500
too.
to
Yep.
1200. Gotcha. So 1200 to 14 went up to 193 additional because I blocked them off, right? So 1400 a month to 1600 a month went up to 244. So now I'm looking at this and going, well, what about 1600 to 2000? What do we have? We went up to 425.
Mm-hmm.
So your most available rentals are 1600 to 2000 a month.
Which are kind of what we'd call we start moving in almost into a luxury rental type of situation, larger
Used to be.
home, family
Mm-hmm.
home.
Yeah. But at this point, I did look at it, and you went, okay, if you could get a 1,500 or 1,600 or even 1,300 square foot house, your payment is going to be less than your rent.
Correct. And it's something we've
So
been talking about for a while now.
Yeah. So now I'm looking at it going, okay, you're going to have to go somewhere around 14 to 1600, and then you're competing, and then what area are you in, and then so rentals are they're still at a premium
Yep.
because there aren't any.
And so, some of these evictions, as we've lack of evictions, as we're talking about, have held back a pool of properties that
Yes.
could be re-rented out to people that are able to pay the rent.
Yes. Yes. And I mean, I look at it with the scarcity that's there. I don't see it's going to, unless there is a wave of huge amounts of influx and, the tsunami of empty places that will drive the prices down.
Right.
I don't see it having a negative effect. They actually would be welcomed.
I think exactly. Depending on how they're going to do it, and that's and this is a question that is perplexing a lot of people, and this kind of reminds me. I think you and I chatted about this. Reminds me of 2010, 11, 12. So when the foreclosures took place, the short sales, the REO market. Remember, there was a group. There were people that believed that there was shadow inventory, and that shadow inventory was going to come on the market and depress us even further. Well, it turned out there was no shadow inventory, and that investors came in, especially big Wall Street ones like Blackstone and others, and
Hmm.
gobbled up property after property after property.
And just for a corrective, because I was afraid of the shadow inventory, I had people that worked at Nevada Power
Yep.
higher up that said there are up to 40,000 places in Las Vegas with no power on them. So think about that. Those
Mm-hmm.
are empty. They were supposed to glut the market, but the REITs and the larger corporations came in and went, we're not having it. And they got them for a very, 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 very good price. If you bought in
Yep.
2011 or 2012, your equity build is silly right now.
Right.
So they had the money. They were able to come in and buy up the homes. So we didn't get what the shadow inventory was supposed to be, but there was an existing shadow inventory. It just was kind of corrected
They were
by
being processed
corporation.
through, and they were being gobbled up
Yes.
by 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 groups, whether they were Wall Street investors. We work with investors too, and people that have asset portfolios that purchased a lot of property.
And therein goes to my mind, it could happen again. So the people that actually purchase their own home, first of all,
Yep.
are in the game. And then if you have any way of purchasing a couple of investment properties, you're going to have something that's maybe, if we have another one of those, a little harder to get again.
Exactly. Exactly. And so this kind of leads into the next article here. And so we know, again, we go with what we know, and then we identify the unknowns. That's Don Rumsfeld. Whether I'm not saying what political side you're on or not. My brother and I, we always talk about it. He was right. They're the known knowns, the known unknowns, the unknown knowns, and the unknown unknowns.
And there they all are.
There they all are, exactly. But we go with what we know, and then we also identify doubt with risk and things of that nature. So we know that there is a group of homes that are going to be evicted upon. We're not quite sure exactly what that number looks like. We do
Mhm.
know at the same time rentals are in demand because there's a level of scarcity.
Yes.
And this leads to the next article, which is another known. So this is out of Seeking Alpha. This is an investment website that gathers up a lot of data and information. And they were talking about the REITs, the real estate investment trusts. And again, this gets back to the groups that we were just talking about that purchased a lot of that inventory. And the statement was the suburbs are back. And amid the coronavirus pandemic, residential REITs, particularly traditional the counter-cycle single-family rentals, have proven to be a source of relative shelter for investors. So, single-family REITs are one of 6 real estate property sectors in positive territory for 2020. So a single family REIT, so people know, it's a real estate investment trust. You've probably heard of that in general, that those are property, group investment vehicles that own a group of property. In this case, where they own single family homes, and they own a lot of them.
Hmm.
And
They're not 1 to 10s.
no,
They
exactly.
buy them in the 10s and 20s. So
Yeah.
go ahead.
Lock, stock, and 1,000 listings.
Barrels. Hmm. Hmm.
And the biggest one is Invitation Homes, and that was spun off. It's publicly traded, so you all can go on do a quick search. Invitation Homes stock price, and a few others. Invitation Homes was a spin-off of Blackstone. Blackstone is a giant fund of property owners. They
It's
own a lot
huge.
of commercial property. Well, they spun off this Invitation Homes, which was their residential single family assets. They also own a lot of apartment complexes.
Hmm.
Um, so they're big, ladies and gentlemen. And their this article was extremely interesting because they're back in positive territory for 2020. So if you're a real estate investment trust and you're dealing with single family homes, and Invitation Homes and several others, they have assets here in Las Vegas, in the Las Vegas Valley. They have single family units still, quite a few of them. And for their stocks now to be basically at or near pre-pandemic levels,
Hmm.
in light of everything going on with moratoriums and evictions, is another known where you're going, huh, why is that?
This is one of these.
What was there was the who was the guy that goes, things that make you go,
Don't remember. Hmm. I know
there
the
was,
song.
yeah, things that make you go, and
No,
so
it was, and I'm trying now. Now you got me off on another. Don't do this ADD thing. Keep talking.
only your ADD can count, but mine's you can't
Mine.
solve
I
mine.
can't. You know better to show me something shiny.
There you go. There you go. And that they are feeling pretty darn good on in this sector. And in addition to stock price, they feel that because of what's going on in the major cities, densely populated areas such as downtown Chicago, New York, especially other major cities, Las Vegas is, for better or worse, we're suburbia 101. I mean, so they're feeling that Las Vegas and the Southwest, including Phoenix and other markets, are still a strong position for people looking to get out of the bigger, densely crowded cities and to rent. And to some degree, that the single family rentals, and this was an interesting point in the article, single family rentals have become the default starter home to as rising home prices have stretched availability. So that's another interesting comment. How
Single family rentals.
yeah, single family rentals are becoming what we used to call the default starter home. So instead of buying the default starter home,
Yeah.
they're renting them.
Do you think though that that's the availability as well?
Yes,
Yeah, I do too because we're hurting for certain on small homes. I
exactly.
mean, as far as small square footage, beginning starter. Um, yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
So the other point of this article, and I think we're going to put this up on a couple of shares. This is the one that went, again, things that make you go, hmm.
I was just trying to look that up, but it didn't work.
Is, and if somebody knows it, definitely put a big favor, put a
Yes.
comment
Talk,
below. That'll get this
please.
off of Google for at least 5 minutes. Is rent collection compared to previous year. So Invitation
Yeah.
Homes. So they took three of these large REITs: Invitation Homes, American Homes, and Front Yard. So compared to previous year, and Invitation's the big one. April, 95% rent collection compared to April of 2019. May, 97% rent collection as of versus 2019. June, 98%. July, 98%.
So what were they the year before? In other words,
Unfortunately, I don't have that
okay,
number,
compared
but
to last the year, I'm just seeing if they were at that same spot or if they were, or they're doing better.
well, let's go on the thing that saying, okay, well, there's probably there's an eviction rate or things of that nature, but if you can, and the economy was quite robust, market's doing well, things of that nature. Middle of the year last year, interest rates were trending downward to some degree. And
So I'm saying they are 98% of what they were last year. They are 95% of what they were last year. I'm
correct.
just clarifying that.
Yep.
Okay,
So
perfect.
overall, on the average from those three REITs, again, April through July, 98.0, 98.7, 98.7, 98.7.
Jeez, they've only dropped 2%. Not even.
Not even.
Not even.
Now we're down to almost
Hmm.
1.3% back July.
How they doing that?
That's a great question, isn't it?
I know. I want to find that out.
Exactly. Exactly. And two, year over year occupancy, Invitation Homes was at 97.5%. And then the American Homes was 96.9, and Front Yard was 96.2. So again, 97.2 occupancy year, this year and year over year average. So pretty,
Yeah, those are
pretty,
good numbers.
pretty strong.
Pretty strong
So
numbers.
we know that, so again, it gets this question mark of how much of this, what is this? Is this will we be seeing an eviction tsunami, or are we going to see a series of eviction waves? And how big are those waves? And those are the questions we're still trying to figure out.
Yeah, just how does this work? Because there are going to be individuals, that, a lot of them, that are going to have to make a move.
Right.
And then there's money that's been not collected that's possibly not collectible.
Right. There's
Um,
probably going to be some loss.
and the other thing that I keep trying to place in this, and that's a whole other piece of the puzzle, and we'll have another talk, is apartments are affected more than the homes because there's so many more of them.
Yes.
So that's a factor that's the unknown. But at the moment and up until we see differently, all the fears that I personally have sat back and said, but what if? We've mitigated quite well so far. It
Exactly.
hasn't
It,
it
it,
hasn't it hasn't made the negative impact, and it's actually, I mean, there are still a lot of people that haven't gone back to work, but we still don't see um, the big negative effect. People are still buying homes.
People are still buying homes. People are still renting homes. We have a strong rental demand.
Yeah, the rental is huge.
We have homes that right now, if you look at it from a REIT perspective, have strong collection rates.
That was telling to me right there. Those numbers right there was huge.
So where is that? Where is that? Like you said, Colleen, is it in the condo component that we're going to see this? And as well as again, there are a lot of REITs that
Yeah.
own these condo complexes.
Hmm.
And
A
you've
lot.
said it yourself. There are some of them they're providing incentives, and there's some loss and discounting in there. And like you said, there's going to be some of this that's going to be unrecoverable. But in a rental situation, the goal is to put a person in there that's able to pay.
Hmm.
So while there may, so the then it gets to the next question saying, well, if there's still demand, there's still a fair amount of collections. Yes, there may be evictions. Are those evictions going to translate into homes going on the market for sale and investors dumping them? And that is that I right now with what I see, I don't feel that that's going to be a significant push. That's where I with what I'm seeing right now.
I see more of the negativity in the, like you said, the multifamily.
Yep.
I think it's going to, it has to affect multifamily because again, it's not just one. It's there are a lot of them, and location is a big factor for those multifamily family housing situations. If you're closer to your job and those types of jobs, like our strip jobs, etc., don't come back in force, there's that many people that are living in that concentrated of an area that are not going to be able to pay the rent,
Right.
or they're going to move out of state, or whatever they're doing.
Yep.
So we don't know that answer, but right now it seems like the housing market. And again, I look at it and go, so if there's a change of 20% in your rental income on a house, that's the ebb and flow with real estate. Okay, that's what that is.
Mm-hmm.
But then you look at the interest rates and you go, you can get a house right now with an interest rate that's so low that you should, if done right, you should be able to weather the storm,
Yes.
whether you're living in it or you're renting it. So I'm a little more optimistic than I was as far as single family houses.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. And I think it is important to sort of couch single family houses versus condo apartment complexes,
Mm-hmm.
because they are sort of two different asset types and entities. And you've seen as well as I, some of these groups are doing, okay, first month's free rent. It's kind of like cars. Okay, what do the car companies do when they're trying to stimulate business? We'll pay for your registration, the first month's free, or hey, you know what? We won't even have you pay until 2021, 0% interest rates. But the goal is ultimately to move them along to get people into payments.
Yes. So that's why you have lost leaders. That's why you
Yep.
have specials. First month free as long as you do 12 months and you fulfill the 12 months. If you only fulfill 10, you owe them 2 months rent. You know what I mean? There's that kind of thing. Pay me now, pay me later, but we're okay with shuffling it around.
Absolutely.
Less deposits.
Yeah. So when we're going to continue to work on bringing this information to light, so people have the information. Like I said, I had a call the other day. Friend, friend's spouse was in property management. There was a fear, like, okay, what about all these rental houses coming on market? Well, the current situation doesn't doesn't look like that may happen. However, I think there will be some, but the question is would it adversely affect the market? I'm not sure at this moment in time. I mean, I'm feeling like it's or feeling more like it's going to be sort of this shadow inventory theory again.
I hope that it is a good thing. I do. I'm braced for. Let's put it that way. And anybody I talk to, I always tell them this.
Yep.
Whether you're buying now or you want to buy next year, or if you're trying to time the market properly,
Yep.
I I don't know that you're ever going to get. First of all, no crystal ball, but all things are pointing to maybe a 10 to 15% little blip, but not like we had in 2008, 9, 10,
Right.
where you go from a $700,000 house you can get for 300.
Exactly.
I think there's a lot of stop gaps that are being put in place that have been learned from that particular time.
Oh,
Um,
absolutely. $2 trillion worth of stimulus, record low interest rates. Also, too, you know, it gets back to the other root item, and as they say, we did the 2010s. We have not built enough homes to keep up with demand. We overproduced from 2000 to
yeah,
2008 9.
yes, yes.
We have yet to produce anywhere near the rates that we build homes. So you have this demand, you have population growth, things of that nature, supply and demand. We don't have enough houses.
Yeah, and it is supply and demand. And then the cost of building and all the equipment, materials, people, time,
Yep,
all of that land. I mean, the cost of production of a home has gone up
absolutely,
like a
absolutely.
lot. So,
Yeah,
you know,
we've talked about that with lumber recently.
I think it's really, I've been speaking to a lot of people, and it's not just that skilled labor. We don't have enough right now. We just don't. All the way from concrete to roofing to, you know what I mean, everything that goes in between. Then you look at products that go inside the house, the fits and finishes.
Yeah,
cabinetry. We did it with our house.
exactly.
Cabinets are 3-4 months away.
Exactly. I talked to some people about that. They go 3 to 4 months,
Yeah,
and I
you don't
thought,
just order the cabinets in 4 weeks. They're here.
yeah.
No.
And I guess here's a question I think about, because for the most part we in Las Vegas we source our cabinets mostly from out of state.
Yes, they do.
I'm almost going to go, should we start a cabinet making company here?
There's something besides the cost of
Right.
the manufacturers have such a it's a Amazon-esque. You know what I mean?
The
They
the
have such
the
a
big kids.
yeah. It's hard to beat them. Having said that, never say never.
Never say exactly.
Everybody had to
Exactly.
start somewhere, and they didn't start on the top. So
Nope. So it's interesting. We're going to continue to look at this with regards to what's going on in evictions, what's going on in these REITs, things of that nature. And as we get more news and information, we're definitely going to get them out to everybody. But it's interesting to see this data in light of everything going on. It's kind of like the
mhm.
stock market. It's like, why is the stock market at this and unemployment's at that?
Yeah, yeah, and we're trying to figure out how to pull that,
Yeah,
so
how
that
to
they all
bring
meet and
those
make
two
sense.
together.
And every week we take a look and go, huh, okay.
Okay.
So the equation changes,
Yep.
but it's all making sense at this point.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And lastly, the mortgage rates for this week, we've had
Yeah.
a little dip week over week.
Mhm.
So, as I see here, the 30-year fixed went down 2 basis points to 3.08%. The 15-year fixed went down 3 basis points to 2.54. The 30-year fixed jumbo went down 1 basis point to 3.14, and the 30-year fixed refinance looks like week over week change was zero, negligible at 3.14. So again, interest rates still showing great opportunities there.
Yeah, the interest rates are killer. I don't care.
Yep.
I mean, anything that's below 5 is really good. So when we're getting down to 3, we're in a good spot.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see, what is the future forecast on rates. But as it looks like we're still in really, historically low position. I think it's going to be probably what's going to happen with COVID. Will there be changes with regards to the flu season coming up? There is talks about early vaccines coming online within the next 30 to 45 days. So a lot, and the election itself. Those things are going to be many factors as to see how the rates pan out over the next through from probably from now until the end of the year.
End of the year, absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
well, anyway, that's today's episode. If for those tuning in, if you have questions about some of the topics we had here, about the evictions, what's going on, you've got some questions about buying, selling, or investing, because we're working with all three of those types of clients. We'd love to set up a Zoom or Facebook time, answer those questions, because I think more now than ever, people need the information to make the decision whether they're ready to go now or they're even ready to go a year from now.
It's also a really good time to sell. I mean, we keep talking about buying and et cetera. The idea is if you're wanting to sell and you've had your house since 11 or 12, you have an equity build that will allow you to go wherever you want to go, and if not the same payment, lower, because interest rates are where they were back then.
Yes.
So it's I mean, I'm thrilled and shocked at the same time. Buy sell is a good time now.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, a couple,
Yeah.
like I said, with the interest rates, equity position. So again, I had a meeting last week with a good client, friend of ours, about selling their place. They bought it at the bottom of the market, bought it as a foreclosure. They've got great equity. Family's growing now. They need more space. They'd like some more amenities because the availability of the gyms, things of that nature. They can also save on some costs. And where they're at position in their life, they can make that next step up. And right now, with a interest rates as low as they are, we're starting to get some ideas.
Yeah, yeah.
So
And it's fun to see it. It actually, when you brought that up and the clients came and we started doing the research on it, I was like, this is still a time that makes good sense because people go, I don't want to buy now because I'll be overpaying. No, because your payments and et cetera. I mean, if we do have a downturn and you put yourself, again, I'm preaching, but if you put yourself in a home that you want to be in and you can afford it, you do it right. It doesn't matter what the market does because it'll go back up again, and
right,
you're still in a position of my payment, my interest rate, and my location is where I want to be.
exactly,
Yay!
exactly. So anyway, well, Colleen, appreciate you joining up today. Now tomorrow we're going to go over our market stats for the week, our weekly Wednesday recap. And so again, we appreciate everyone tuning in to episode 90 of Coffee with Cramer and Colleen. I'm Don Cramer.
I'm Colleen Schaefer.
And we're more now than ever. Your real estate experience matters. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. Love to answer those for you. Wishing everyone a wonderful day. Till next time, take care. Bye bye.
Bye bye.